Hey everyone, it's Rose from the Painted Toad, and I'm here tonight teaching Shamrocks and Shenanigans. So tonight's design, it might turn out like this or it might turn out completely different. That's the fun of doing something like this. It doesn't have to turn out exactly like mine. I really want you to explore and have fun and we're just kind of messing around and trying out different things. So that's what I love about this particular project. It was just a play project, and sometimes you got to do that. Hi Jane. Hi Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I saw your message there, but I was just about to go live and I couldn't answer you, so I'll get back to you. She sent me a message about something else. All right, so I am going to flip over my page in my mixed media pad. So I'm not going to be able to see my guide here. So this could turn out completely different. And then if you like it neat and tidy, you can use a little bit of painter's tape or masking tape in your mixed media pad to mask it off. And that way, when you pull that up, you'll have like nice, neat, tidy edges. I know I have some people that like having things neat and tidy. So what I do, here's a little hint. What I like to do is I like to take the tape. I'll switch my screen here so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. I like to take the tape and I like to stick it to my clothes. So I'm like sticking it down here or stick it to your shirt and get a little bit of that fuzz on there, because what that'll do is it'll help it release later on so it doesn't get like completely stuck down to the paper. And you know what? I want to tip this down a little bit because I wore a special shirt for all of you. I've got my Art Shamrock shirt. I made this one a few years ago. So I wore it just for you, just for you. I don't always, I mean, you can only wear it like maybe once a year for St. Patrick's Day or so. This gives me an excuse to wear it. But let's start taping this down, and it'll just take me a minute here. And if you're on the canvas, hopefully you don't mind us taping a little bit. There we go. Okay. Um, so yeah, adding a little bit of tape, put a little bit on your fabric so it doesn't get totally stuck. And I did this as like a complete square, and I'm just eyeballing it. So if you're really particular, you want to measure it out, you can, but you don't have to. Or you can just paint the whole canvas or the whole, if you're doing the mixed media pad, you just paint the whole thing. That's fine. Well, I'm just going to put this here. And then we need one more. And this is kind of a good thing to do because that way people who are still jumping on and joining us have a chance to get in there before. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I love this shirt. It's one of my faves. I think my TikTok, like my little TikTok icon, I'm wearing this shirt. It's a good picture on there. I like my little TikTok picture. All right, that looks pretty square. I think that's good. Okay, so first things first, what we're going to do, and I'm just gonna minimize my window here so I can still see, because sometimes what I see in front of me and what I see on the camera shows up a little different for you, so I like to make note of that. First things first, we're gonna pick a brighter color to do our green background. And sorry for the shadows here, but when I work on white paper, I gotta work on that and figure out how to get that fix my lighting for the video to get that to work out right. Okay, so I've got a couple, I've got craft paints and I've got artist paints and all that. So I've got a variety here. Metallic paint, I've got the green glitter glue. If you didn't get the supply list and you're like watching the replay, you want to do this later, just put Shamrock in the comments and then I will give you a link for the supply list. It's just a no cost download. There's no charge to that. So I'm going to pick a really bright green here. This one is lime green, and I think I'm going to go with that one. I had an sour apple, and then I've got this lime green, which is just multi-surface craft paint. But for this kind of a project, it really doesn't matter. You don't need anything fancy. Now, in terms of your background here, you could do a bunch of different things. Since we're playing around tonight, whoa, what did I lose there? Oh, just a lid from something. You can use different brushes, like if you'd like to try some different brushes or techniques, you can do a little finger painting. Oh, Sharon, I see it on there. Yes. Finger painting, and let's see here. I mean, anything's fine. You know, I have a toothbrush. We could play around with that. An old toothbrush. I don't brush my teeth with this one. I wouldn't recommend that. But yes, we could play around with the background. And I'm just going to see here. I did mine with a flat brush and then kind of added some stuff. So I'll kind of stick to my original. But I was smoother in the background. I think this time I'm just going to have some fun and kind of go back and forth and um, just crisscross it. And hey, Debbie. So have fun with this. Use what you have and just just get the paint on there. That's all we care about. There's no like fancy special way to do this. This is all play tonight. It's playing around, coming up with a fun green shamrock design. And the cool thing is when we're done, I'll put a little post. And if you want to share how yours turned out, I would love to see how different these all turn out because we're all using different shades of green and we might use different techniques and styles. And, you know, I really want you to get your creative game on tonight. There we are. We're going to do some doodling. If you have some paint pens, we'll do a little doodling. I did list one of the paint pens on there that seems to work really well. Like white paint pens don't always work great, but this, we'll talk about it later, but this Uniball white pen is like a gel pen, works really good. For some reason, the white paint pens I have don't always work that great when I'm putting them on other things. Now, I just did that plain green, and you can actually go in and if you want, we could add a little white to that. The colors for the Shades of Green challenge are any shade of green, and then you can also use black or white because technically those aren't actual colors. They're values. Hey, Marie. Hello, hello. So I'm just going to kind of come in here and have some fun doing a little dry brushing. Like I got it on there, and then I'm just kind of dry brushing it on after I run out of paint. I'm just mixing it around. You can do, you could take a round brush and do some swirls. You could do a toothbrush, like I said earlier, or some other cool paint tools. I use these with little ones when I'm teaching them textures and things. We use like basters and kitchen tools. You can get a lot of fun. You can find a lot of fun stuff in the kitchen. What I like to do is I like to go to the dollar store and I'll go through the kitchen section and pick out cool stuff to create textures and things with, you know, for stamping and whatnot. So this background's a little different than my original, but that's kind of the goal of this project. It's going to be different every time. It's not always going to be the same. The goal is to have fun with it and enjoy it. I'll put some more green on there. There. I wonder what the toothbrush would look like. So I'm just going to try and see here what kind of a pattern. You can kind of get different things going on. I'm just sticking it in the paint here. I don't know if you could see me there, just kind of sticking this end of it in there. And I don't know if we'll get a very decent pattern or not because it's got that big fat thing on there. Sometimes it's easier to use the cheap toothbrushes instead of the inexpensive ones. Ooh. So that's just kind of cool. Just adds a little speckle in the background. I like that. I really like that. All right, I'm going with that. I didn't put toothbrush on the list, but you know, if you got one laying around, go grab it, right? Or you can use, oh, what are they? Q-tips, toothpicks, any of that stuff. Or just use your brushes. Use the end of your brush. Do a little spatter on there if you want to. This is just going to be fun and a little bit crazy. Lots of shenanigans. We got our art shenanigans. I usually have all sorts of Shenanigans, terrible jokes. All right, who among us, let's see, let's find out. Who celebrates St. Patrick's Day and like who's got a little bit Irish in them? So I am an 8th Irish. I've always been told by my mother. Her mother was, let's see, her mother was half Irish and half English, and her dad was 100% Dutch. So she always told us she was a quarter, let's see, a quarter English and a quarter Irish. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to do my math in my head here. Too much thinking on a Wednesday night. And then she was half Dutch. So my dad is 100% German. So half German, quarter Dutch, 8th English, 8th Irish. So I just got a little bit of Irish in me, just to make me a little lucky, a little bit of luck. All right, let me see here. What am I looking for? Oh, my hair dryer. Well, I don't think I really need the hair dryer for this. So after you get in, oh, you're half Irish, Kathy. All right, all right. One of our gals in our Creatives Coast to Coast group, she's 100%. She is like 100%. She was born in Ireland. So I don't know if she's watching tonight. Jenny, are you watching tonight? Let's see. 11. Cindy says 11. Cool. All right, what I'm going to do here, I'm losing, why is my brain not functioning here? So once you get your background in, we're going to go in, and I just had some fun. There we go, 11% Irish per your DNA. Oh, did you get one of those DNA tests? I've always wondered about those. Always wondered. Like, you know, I've always thought that'd be kind of cool to get that and find out, you know, all the different parts of, I'm probably mostly like European descendant. I'm getting a darker green here. So I'm using Holly Green, another craft paint here. You can use any darker shade of green. Debbie says she's married to a half Irish man, so only Irish by marriage. Well, that's okay. That counts. I think that counts. That's so funny. Yeah, I don't know if my husband has any Irish in him. I know he's got English in him because his his grandfather's name was Teller, and that's an English name. And then I'm trying to think of what his grandmother's name is, what her maiden name was. But I know on the other side of the family, they were all 100% German. That's Gottler. It's all German. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking a round brush here, and I'm just painting some fun little shamrock shapes. You can do 4-leaf clovers, and I'm not being super duper like specific here. Like, this is not hyper realism. This is just getting it out there. In fact, the faster you do it, the more fun you'll have. This is a great little practice. I'm wondering where I'm looking at this. This is a nice brush. I feel like I haven't used this one in a while. I'm like, oh, this is a good one. This is good for getting used to using like a thinner round brush because you can play around. You don't have to worry about like, you know, having the line straight or whatever. It's just a great little practice technique. There we go. I kind of throw a bunch of them off the sides here. And then I also did like a bunch of little shamrocks. So I did a little texture in some of these, and we'll get to that. But I also did some little shamrocks. So you could use the same green to do some little shamrocks, or you can use a different green. So I was going to use this dark green. It's phthalocyanine green. It's kind of almost a bluey green. This is a common like artist paint color, phthalo green. It's got like a touch of blue in it. It's like a deep green, but it's got a hint of blue. In fact, if you mix white with it, it starts to look a little teal or a little bit minty. If I can get it open, oh my gosh, it does not want to open. All right, let me see here. I think I did okay. All right. Good thing I had my green shirt on because this thing like wanted to squirt all over me. I don't know why it was so stuck. Okay. Nobody said that painting was 100% safe. It can be kind of dangerous getting paint on you. You gotta protect your clothes. And I should be wearing a smock, but I'm lazy. I hope none of my art students are watching because I always insisted they wear a smock. I think this paint bottle is just really hard to open. And you can tell it is because every time, look at all the green. That's from the last time I tried to open it because my hands get all covered in green. This is the shenanigans for the night. These are the shenanigans. Getting green paint all over you. If you don't get a little green paint on you, you're not doing it right. Okay. Take a little bath. I'm turning into the painted toad. I'm painting myself green. There we go. A little bath in my water. Normally I don't bother if it gets on me, but I'm going to get it like all over and then I'm going to... It's 99% safe. Yes, Jody. 99% safe. Except when you have a paint explosion. It explodes out of the bottle. All right. So I'm coming into my darker. And what I'm going to do with this is just create some smaller ones. Oh, you know what? Let's play around with another brush. If you have some brushes, like a variety of brushes, I suggest trying another brush. I have some filbert brushes, and if you don't know what a filbert is, I'll show you. A filbert brush is, it looks like a flat brush because it's flat, but it has this lovely little round edge, which is perfect for petals and things like that. I'm trying to get it to focus. Come on, camera, focus on the filbert. There we go. Look at that. It's so pretty. Okay, so that's a filbert brush. If you have one, give it a try. If you don't worry about it. Just use what you have. So these are kind of fun because you can get this nice little round shape. It's perfect for doing petals, or I'm going to do this one as a little four-leaf clover. There we go. Or our little clovers here. So I'm just going to do some dark ones. Little ones, and then we'll come back and add a little bit to these as well. And the goal is here, I'm a left-handed. Woo! My friend Elizabeth is ambidextrous. She can paint with her right and left hands. I think that's so cool. I can paint with my left hand, but I really have to like concentrate and focus because it's tricky, but I can do it with my left hand. Especially when I'm trying to do a demo from a different angle so that people can see. Sometimes I'll switch hands and do it that way. Here we are. Now we are going to put a big shamrock in the middle. So if you don't put a ton of stuff in the background here, that's fine. That's why I'm kind of sticking to the edges here because I know that this is going to get all covered up. So if I don't, put a ton of stuff in the middle, I won't have to cover it up later. But you don't want to have too many gaps. You still want to get stuff in there. There we are. Another cute thing you could do with this, if you wanted to add some more, yes, I love the filbert brush too. Debbie's saying she loves the filbert brush. And it's just fun to say it, it's like, this is a filbert. It makes you sound like you're a really fancy artist and you know your brush names. I'm using a filbert. All right, so I'm just kind of looking. I think I'm gonna have that and that and that. I think that'll be good because I'm gonna have a big shamrock right there. Okay, let's add a little bit of texture here on these. And I can't remember what texture I use. Hold on, I'm gonna peek at my other design here. Let's just take a peek-see. Oh, I used a paint pen for that. And I also did some little curlicues with whites. So this time I did the spritzies, but we could do curlicues with white as well. What do you think? Should we just leave the spritz, or you want to have some fun with the liner brush and do some little twirls and skinny little lines? What do you think? What do you think? Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. In the meantime, I think I put away all my green paint pens, but I'm going to pull those back out. If you don't have paint pens, you can use ultrafine Sharpie markers or regular Sharpie markers. I like to do the Sharpies because they're permanent. Or you could probably use gel pens too. The most important thing though is to make sure whatever you're drawing on is dry. Because if you get the paint, yes, I do too, Jody. If you get the paint on the on the tip of the pen or the paint marker or whatever it is you're using, it kind of sticks on there and then it messes up and then it doesn't want to work. Curly, curly. Oh, Jody says curly, curly. And you said you like the filbert for the flowers. Let me see. Yes, it is. It works perfect for the clovers too. All right, let's do some curly curlies then. Jody wants to do the curly curlies. Let's so get yourself a real skinny liner brush. And this is another great practicing thing for your liner brush. I know a lot of people get anxious about using the liner brush, you know, like with outlining and stuff because it's like details and it stresses people out. So this is a great activity to practice and do, even in a mixed media pad like I'm doing, because it helps you loosen up and just kind of get used to the brush without the fear of making a mistake. You can't make a mistake. It's just fun. It's just fun and, you know, having a good time with it. So you can experiment a little bit with your liner brush. So the liner brush is a really skinny one. I've just got some white paint on there. We might do some other paint colors too. We'll see. And then, you know, the harder you push on it, the thicker your lines. The less you push on it, the thinner your lines. So if you use less pressure, you will get skinnier lines. So this is a great way to practice that. Trying to do different amounts of pressure for thick or thin. You could do little squiggles or curlicues like I'm doing. Do little spirals. Have fun with it. I like the spirals. Those look kind of cool. Squiggles. I'm not really going inside these shamrocks because we're going to do something with the paint pen in there. And if you don't have the paint pens, you can use this brush as well. You can use this liner brush. We're going to do some green inside of our shamrocks. There. I think we could also, why don't we take it and dip it into some green here? Well, I still got some white on there, but I'm just going to use one of the greens. I use the green I used for this. Doesn't matter which green you choose. And you could do some little curlicues with the green and the white, and it'll mix and give you a different tint. So you can kind of have some fun with that, mixing the tints. This is very much a fun little abstract. It's almost like an art journaling thing. I don't know if any of you do art journals, but it's a great way to paint every day as you do a little art journal page and just kind of mess around and play and make something through play. Art should be playful. I think sometimes people get a little too serious about their art, and that's when you end up getting frustrated because you're too serious, and then you think it has to look a certain way, or it didn't turn out the way the teacher did it, and then it's like it's frustrating, and people don't want to continue because they're like, this is too hard. So you got to play. Play is important. I'm loving this background. I like it better than my other background. All right, I'm going to do a little blow drying because some of my blobs, my white blobs, are still a little tacky, and I want to get in there with my paint pen and not get white paint on the end. Yes, yay! Art journal, Jody. She's like, woohoo! All right, so please don't mind the noise. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had a little bit of white there that wasn't quite dry. It's still a little tacky underneath. I'll just be careful when I go over it with a paint pen. So for the insides of these shamrocks, my original I did just little scribbles. So just kind of scribbled in there. But what you can do, you can do scribble or you can do another pattern or whatever you think. The color I use, these are Arteza acrylic markers. They're like paint pens. And the color I'm using here is forest green. Now I'm going to check it here. Make sure it's working because sometimes you got to pump it a little bit to get the color to come down. Ooh, it's being fussy tonight. Maybe I got something on the tip last time and now it's not cooperating. Come on, pen. Well, maybe I am not going to use forest green because it is not coming out. Hold on a minute here. What is the deal? Now I'm going to get green paint all over my fingers. green paint pen. Huh, this one is not working. Let me try on a piece of, well, I'll just try it here on my journaling page. We'll do it on the back. This is just not coming out. Okay, well, plan B. We are not using forest green. We are going to try, well, lettuce green might not be dark enough. I don't know. Let's see. No, that's not going to be dark enough. Too bright. Let me see if I have any other darker colors, or I might have to do this with my round brush. I do have, okay, I've got deep teal. That's too blue, don't you think? Yeah, maybe you're right, Debbie. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to wet the tip. It's being annoying. It was working just fine the other day. I also have, what color is this? Oh, we've got phthalo green. Maybe we can use the phthalo. I haven't used phthalo yet, so that one will be fresh. Hold on, let's see. Yep. All right. I'm going to do the phthalo. And then I'll mess with that other one later. Okay. So, you can do whatever you want here. You can do little scribbles all over. That's kind of what I did for my first one. I just kind of scribbled. Or you can do patterns. You could do like a crisscross plaid pattern if you wanted to. That might be fun to try. I might try one of those on the other ones. Let's see. I'll do a couple different ones and then you can kind of look and see and make some decisions. You want to do something similar or different. And you know, I'm just scribbling all over. Can y'all see that? Let me scooch it in a bit. There, that's a little better. Couldn't really see it. So yeah, it's just scribble, scribble, scribble. There's no rhyme or reason, or it's just scribbling. It's good for getting stress out. If you're like, you know, angry or annoyed, you just scribble. Let's see, this one, let's see if we can do something a little different for this one. I'm going to do some striped lines. Play around with it. They don't all have to be the same. So I got that one going that way. We've got some vertical lines, and then maybe I'll do a few horizontal. Get like a plaid thing going. There we go. That looks kind of interesting because it's getting a different texture. Now, if I did one texture here, I only have, well, I've got one over there. I could do that one also with this, so we have like a combination, or I could do different. I think I'm going to do this one the same because it's kind of going off. So I'm going to do the crisscrossy plaid looking. Here. There we go. And then I feel like, oh, you guys can't see that one, sorry. I'll move it over just a tad. There you go. I can do the scribblies on this one again, or I could do something different. I think I should do scribbles. I do kind of like that crisscross, but we need, you know, kind of have to balance it. I'm always trying to balance. I think I'll do the scribbles again. And then some of these shamrocks are going to get covered up anyways by our big shamrock in the middle that we're going to paint in a little bit. I'm just going to do scribble, 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 scribble. Now, if you have a couple different greens, you could go in and add a couple different greens. You could also add white in there if you wanted to add some white scribbles or white lines. That might actually look kind of interesting. In fact, I think I might try that with mine. Just to see. So I'm going to use the Uniball because I find that the white paint pens just don't show up. It's just kind of liquidy and it doesn't really do anything. So let's see here. I could, oops, there we go. Just got to get it going. I could just kind of do a few little lines here across and just kind of do the same design. If you wanted to spend a little time on these patterns, you could go in and like, if you did this one, you could fill in the little squares and have a check pattern. So that'd be kind of cute. I think that white, it almost looks like a fly swatter now, you know? They're little shamrock fly swatters. That'll work. Or like a screen. It makes me think of like a screen on a window, window screen. A little bit of white. There. And then you could also do the same thing, over your scribbles. You could do little scribbly whites over the green. I used two different greens, but because my other green was not working, I'm not doing the other green. So I'm doing a little white over it. Why not? Have fun with it. And you don't have to necessarily follow the Shades of Green challenge. Like if you want to use a little gold or a little silver, you could totally do that. I'm sticking to the Shades of Green challenge just because I promised I would. And my group members will hold me accountable. They'll be like, you didn't use all green. Remember, like I said, black and white don't count. You could do black and white in there too. If you want to add a little black, that'd be kind of cool. Those are looking pretty cool. I almost don't want to cover this up now with a big shamrock. What do you think? Should we keep going with this design or should we do the big fat shamrock in the middle? The big fat shamrock is fun to paint though. It is fun to paint. And I did use a big fat filbert brush for that one. So I've got a bigger filbert brush. It's bigger. It's got that nice round tip. So I'm going to pull out, I've got some light green artist acrylic here. And I'm going to start painting in the big shamrock shape. I sound like I said shamrock shake. I almost did. Shamrock shape. We should have gotten shamrock shakes. Are they out at McDonald's yet? Are they selling the shamrock shakes yet? I think it's... Oh, you did the big shamrock first. Oh, Cindy, fancy. Yeah, because then you can kind of work around it with your design. This is part of the fun for me is, you have to give up a little on the things that you've already created, covering it up a little. So I am taking my filbert brush here and I'm using that nice round edge and I'm creating, it's like a heart shape. So think of it as like a heart shape coming down here for your shamrock petals. It's a leaf, really, your shamrock leaf. And then we're going to do another one over here. And you can decide too if you want to do just like a 4-leaf clover instead of a shamrock, just, change the position of your petals, I keep saying petals, of your leaves so that you can fit 4 of them. Oh, look at, I'm going to cover up most of this one over here. Goodbye, little shot. It's like, why do you do all that work if you're just going to cover it up? Because we're playing, remember? We're playing. This is a play project. Playing. People don't play enough when they paint. They take it too seriously. You need to have fun. Creativity is born from fun. I'm trying to think. Some artist said, and I don't remember which one, but the gist of it is if you don't, you're not going to get a masterpiece every time you paint. So you're going to have those in-between times, and you really have to paint often in order to get good at your craft and, and get creative and inspire new ideas and things like that. So playing around like this every day or doing an art journal is a great way. I'm just using the edge of that to get my little stem here. Is a great way to create every day and to keep your creative brain inspired and awake. I'm running out of paint here. I got to get some more. So I'm just using this green here, and then I'm going to layer some other greens and have fun with my filbert brush. Oh, Jody thinks you had a great idea, Cindy. Yeah, that's the great thing about, I love doing these classes because you all give me great ideas. My favorite was some of the ones from the mouse shake one we did, where, people came out with like glitter for the salt and pepper and like, you know, all the cute little ideas y'all come up with as we're going along. I don't know if you saw those pictures that people posted. I did send them out in my newsletter if you're on my email list of a bunch of them, and they were just so cute, so cute. All right, so once you got one layer of green on there, while it's still wet, play around with some of your other colors. So I've got this really light olive green. This is kind of a fun green. And I'm going to add a little bit of that. And I'm going to let it mix with the color I already have. So I just kind of come in like this and just sweep it like that. You can kind of do a curve like this. It almost gives it that, it'll make it look a little three-dimensional when you start adding color. So I'll do a little there. I might add a little here. I might do a little darker on one side and lighter on the other. You can also add some white in there to create a different tint. I think what I did last time, I'm looking at my colors here. What is that? I don't think I used the classic green last time. But I think what I did was I added a little bit of the phthalo green. Oh, I still have some there. I'm going to use what I have, lest it explodes on me again. And I'm going to use a little bit more of the bright green as well to kind of mix it in. There we are. Oops, just got green paint on one of my lights. Whoopsies. There's so much paint spatter on my computer. I finally got a little shelf for my computer so that when I'm like spritzing paint around, it doesn't get all over it, but it probably will. Anyways, I'm just taking this in and letting it mix a little bit. You can add a little on this side, let all three of those colors mix. If you have a palette knife, you could go in and play with your palette knife and just scrape some paint on there. My friend Melanie did a really cute shamrock the other day with a palette knife, and it turned out adorable. Just throwing in some green. Oop, there's a little piece of white dried paint that got stuck in there. There we go. Gotta clean my palette. And then if you're doing one and you feel like you lost another color, go back in and add some more of the other color. Throw it in on top. That's what I do. I just throw it in there. I don't mix or clean my brush at all. I just kind of let it all mix together and I just have fun with it. All right, let's add a little green coming down here on the stem, and then maybe I'm just using the edge of my filbert right now. You could switch brushes too if you want to switch to another brush. So I think that looks pretty cool. I'm happy with that. I'm going to look back at my original here. So my original, what I did was I kind of did an outer edge here, and that's where I used the metallic paint. So the inside had a certain color, and then the outside was different. However, I really like the outside of these petals. So I think what I'm going to do is change this up a little bit and do something a little different on the middle and maybe on the edges. So let's have some fun changing it up. I'm going to take a little bit of this phthalo green and do kind of a dark outline here with a round brush. So I'm going to make it really dark on the outer edge. There's a method to my madness. I have a little plan in mind because I want to do some embellishing on this. So it has some interesting edges. So it's getting a little bit wider, but not too much wider. We'll still have lots of cool background. Whoops, wrong paint. I just dipped it in a different green. Oop, I'm going to have to get some more of the phthalo. I'm so afraid of this. Hey, Erica. Good evening. There we go. Erica and I were talking earlier today. She's got cute kitty cats. We're both kitty lovers. And we're gonna start a paint and cat rescue. And I don't know about you, Erica, but I really loved the idea of what was it? paws and paints, because that just sounds like it'd be so cute. We could do like art therapy with cats and painting. I really think I'm onto something there, except that you live too far away. We'd have to have like Michigan locations and Indiana locations, and then it would work. There we go. So I got a little bit of that edge there, and I like that. I think that looks pretty cool. And then what if we did a little bit of inside here? So what if I did a little bit of the shamrock, maybe darker on the inside? We're going to change my design a little bit from the original. And you know, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be doing what I'm doing. You can kind of play around and do whatever you want with your design. If you want to add in white or black to get some different tints and shades in here, you could totally do that. In fact, if I add a little bit of white in this phthalo, in the phthalo green, let me show you what happens. It turns a really cool color. It'll be almost a little tealy. So watch. A little bit of white there. Isn't that a cool color? You guys see it? Yeah, kind of, sort of. I did a painting class once. It was like after school for the teachers at the school I taught at. And I thought I had all the right paints, but I had the wrong shade of green. I needed the phthalo green. I had something like, I don't know what green it was. It was like some other weird green. But it was like, oh no, this is not going to work the same, because there is just something to the phthalo green that gives it that real pretty, almost a teal effect when you add white to it. It goes well with blue as well. I'm going to add a little bit here on our edges. Maybe not too much, because I want to go over those edges with my white paint pen. So I'll just lighten it up just a tad. Just adding a few colors in here. Having fun mixing. There. What do you think so far? It's a little different than my first one, but I like it. Thanks, Jody. It needs more squiggles. Yeah, I know. It does. It needs something. It needs something. We're going to add more stuff to it. Definitely add more stuff. Okay, so before I do anything on top of this with the paint pen, I do need to dry it, because you don't want to do any paint pen work while it's still wet. You know, I can let it set here, and I'm going to get out my metallic green. And the one that I used was Crystal Green. It's Deco Art Dazzling Metallics. They've got a couple different shades. I had another one. It was a little bit of a lighter green. Where is it? It's this one. I don't know if I want to use this one or not. It's Festive Green. So you can see that, like, one is really kind of more of a jewel tone, and one is more of a, almost like an olive green. So, I think I'm going to go with the jewel tones, because I like, this is kind of vibrant and bright, and I think I like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on my palette. And then I can use either a round brush, or I've got my little bitty filbert brush. And I'm going to come in here and add a little bit of a shine to each of my tiny shamrocks here. Just to give them a little shimmer. I don't know if that's coming across on the, yeah, you can see that on the camera. You can see a little bit of a shimmer here. So that's just something I like to add. And you know what? I just had another idea when I add on those. I got that one there. It's kind of mixing with the edge of that. And I got a few more. What if we did a real pretty, like, little white flower or something in the center of these, or even just a white dot, just to make it pop a little bit more? I think that might look cool. Once the green has dried, I think that would look kind of cool. All right, I'm going to add a little shimmer here. This isn't totally dry yet, but I'm going to add some shimmer to the center. Let me see how that looks. Or do I like it with the dark? If I don't like the way this looks, I can always go back and add the dark over the top of it. Nothing says you can't go back and change it. So I'm going to do a little shimmer in the center of the shamrock. Kind of going the wrong way with my filbert here, but that's okay. Do, do, do. I feel like it lost a little bit. Oh, yellow. Hey, Melanie. Yellow. I don't know. Yellow breaks my rules. It's not a shade of green, Jody. But if you want to use yellow, you can. I can't break the rules. I have my other creative friends watching tonight, and they're going to hold me accountable if I break the rules. But if you want to add yellow, definitely add yellow. Or if you have a shade of green with lots of yellow in it, that would also work. I don't think I have one, though. My closest one is this light olive green. It's got a lot of yellow in it. You know what? Maybe if I do a little outline of that, I've got a little bit of that left. Let's see. I'm going to use my round brush. And why don't I just kind of bring this out a little bit with an outline? Why don't we bring it near, just to make the center pop. Getting lots and lots of layers on here. This will take a while to dry. It's gonna take a little bit to dry. If we get the top dry though, you know, we can go on it with paint pen. You'll just have to be careful not to dig the paint pen down into your paint, because then it'll mess up your paint pen or your gel pen if you're doing the white or planning to do the white. There. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of that phthalo green, because I feel like I lost some of it here in the center. Let's see. What if we just did a little dark? A little bit of a dark edge to this. Do, do, do. Now what would really make this pop is throwing in another color, like if we threw in some red or some blue. It's hard to stick into one color. We call that monochromatic, when you're just using one color. That's allowed, Jody. Yes, I will allow it if you add a little bit of yellow and blend. That's acceptable. If you don't have a lot of greens, I think that's a fair modification you can make to the rules. We won't count you out. There is a little contest going in the Creatives Coast to Coast group for this. So if you're in that group or interested in that group, we're doing the Shades of Green challenge. So if you share a picture of this or something else you do in Shades of Green, you can get in a drawing for a prize. And I believe the prize is a $15 gift card. And those watching me, help me remember, was it a Michael's gift card or Amazon? I can't remember. And then a free painting tutorial from my very talented artist friend, Karen, of Over the Artsy Moon. Okay, I'm liking this so far, and I'm going to throw the dryer on it a little bit so we can start doing some pen work on it, okay? So keep going if you're going, and oh, it's Michael's. Thank you, Erica. It's a Michael's gift card, $15. You can get a lot of paint for $15 at Michael's. My inner shamrock's going to take a little while to dry. So I'm going to play around with these little shamrocks out here. And what I thought would be kind of cool, I'm going to do maybe a little outlining with my white gel pen first. And then I thought it would be cool to put like a little flower or maybe like a little pearl or something in the center. I'm going to just bring those lines in. And you see that? That looks kind of cool. I like that with the lines. So just, you know, be aware if you are using a paint pen or a gel pen like this, you just want to make sure that the paint is dry. Because like I said, if it starts dragging through the wet paint, that wet paint will get on the tip and then it won't flow right and it gets really annoying. And then you have to go out and buy more paint pens, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, if you want more paint pens, start dragging it through your paint. I'm a bad influence. Don't listen to me. Ah, order more paint. You can never have too much, right? It'll get used. You need every color. You need a little bit of every color. There we go. I like doing this part. This is the doodling part. I love to doodle. Who else likes to doodle? I always doodle. I have always been a doodler. Um, in fact, through school, like, especially high school and college, when you take a lot of notes, I was always doodling in my notebooks. And I could recall test information, like notes I had taken from my notebooks. I would remember the doodle on the page, and then I would remember the content on that page. Isn't that weird? So doodling helped me help me study because I could remember things based on my doodles. You'd be like, oh, that was on the page that I drew the shoe with a cow in it or whatever. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to check this. Outer edge seems pretty dry. So I was going to do something fun on the outer edge. So what I did with the other one is I just did some kind of fun little swirls and squiggles, and you can kind of do whatever you want. You could get real fancy here. I thought about doing, yes, doodles. I thought about doing, like, if you know how to do the Celtic knot, that would be a really cool design to put on the outer edge of this. Like, you know what, maybe we'll do something kind of like that, something a little different. So maybe like a little square edge like that. Can you see that? Okay, that looks kind of cool. Isn't that cool? So have fun with your edge and come up with a cool doodle for your edge. I'm just going to go around. It'll take a little bit longer to do this than the scribbles, but I think it'll look really cool when it's done. Once again, have fun and play around with this. It's one of those projects where you can't do it wrong. Anything you create is good, and it's a learning experience. As you're doing this, you are learning how to use the tools in your painting repertoire. You're learning how to blend paints. You're learning how to create textures. All of these things that I'm doing, I might do later on in a project. Oh, Debbie, it's Creatives Coast to Coast. Um, if one of the team members is watching, if you can put a link in there to the Creative Coast to Coast for those that were interested in the contest for that. And it is not strictly a painting group. We do all sorts of creative arts and crafts and mixed media, and we do a variety of things. So it's not strictly painting, though we do have a lot of ladies who do teach different styles and types of painting within that group. But yeah, it's a fun little group. There we are. And if nobody is watching, I will pop that in there after the live. Doot, 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 doot. I like that design. What do you think of the little square design? Doesn't that look cool? You know what? It almost reminds me, it's like it makes me think of ancient Greece, like when they would do little patterns and stuff um, on different things. That's what it makes me think of, or ancient, I don't know. It makes me think of Mesopotamian art with like little designs and patterns on them. The gel pen is pretty good for not, like, don't drag your arm across as you're drawing, but it dries pretty quick, so you don't have to worry too much about dragging. I'm trying to be careful here not to drag everything. The other thing I should mention too, and I forget to mention this, I'm not really a salesperson, so it doesn't come naturally to me, but my Painter's Pond is an exclusive painting group that I have opened up, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm currently accepting founding members, and tomorrow night at midnight is the last time you can sign up at the founding member as a founding member. So but this type of project, like we're going to be doing different, I offer 2 live painting tutorials a month, and then we do a live Zoom. And this would be something, something like this might be something we do in our Zoom. I call it Art Lab, where we would explore different art tools or mediums sometimes, or different painting techniques, where we're not necessarily always doing a formal painting. We're more having fun and exploring different ways and of doing art and things like that. So, oh, good, Debbie. I'm glad you found it. Yay! There we go. All right, let's see here. Should I bring that? I'm going to bring it down on the edges a little bit. Maybe I'll do the like smaller squares here, going down the down the stem edges, just to help it stand out a little bit. So yes, the Painter's Pond. If you're interested in that, put pond in the comments, and I will put the link in afterwards. It might be linked on here. I can't remember if it's in there. You can see my little icon. Open. It's open. But it is a monthly subscription, and I teach, like I said, 2 live paintings a month. And then you also get a surprise tutorial every month. The pond is a whole video library of different painting and art tutorials. Going to be having some guest artists in there. I have so many fabulous artsy friends who I'll be asking to come in there and show their cool stuff that they do, so we can all learn from it. And I do the Zoom question and answer with the Art Lab, so we do fun little things like this. In fact, our very first Art Lab is Friday. We're going to have a welcome Zoom, and we are going to be doing neurographic art. So really cool technique. It's a great mindfulness activity, if you know what mindfulness is. Great for relaxation. All right, let's see here. I'm checking my inner. I just got to be careful. There's a couple little thick spots that I don't want to dig through. But what I think I want to do, let's see. I don't know if I want to do scribbles or just outlines here. You know what? I'm going to stick with this little square motif and just kind of do a little square motif going around here. Let me zoom in a little bit on it so you can see what I'm doing there. And I'm just going around this little shamrock with some little doodles. You could make this look, if you wanted to do lacy stuff, like to try to make it look like lace, or just do little circles. I'm struggling here with these little squares. I don't know why it's making me struggle. I'm like getting these random wonky shapes, but whatever. It looks cool. It's tricky to do. There we are. Oh, is my pen running out here? Hold on. I hope it doesn't die before we're done. Okay. I think it just got drug a little bit through the green, and then I'm not pushing too hard, but sometimes it gets a little paint on the tip and then it wants to like not function properly. There. I like this one. This looks pretty cool. It's pretty geometric. What else can we add? I feel like we need to do something in the center, and I did want to do something in the centers of those. What if we just did a real pretty flower in the center? I'm going to go back to some white paint here. And you know what? I've got some pearl white paint. I'm going to use a little pearl. Let me grab it. I think it's down here. My daughter borrowed my paint, so they're kind of all mixed up. She was doing Valentine's the other day, so all my pinks are in a big group, and I separated out the greens, so she didn't take any greens, but so this is just some pearl. It says it's pearl-like finish. This is Snow White by DecoArt Pearls. Oop, there we go. So you can see that. So that's fun if you got, it counts because it's white paint. And let's do, I'm going to use, you can use the tip of your paintbrush, or like sometimes I like to use a wood skewer. I use this a lot. And I get a big blob of it, or you could use a Q-tip and get a nice little blob on there. And I wanted to put some little, like little pearls in the center of this. In fact, it would be fun if you had some little pearl beads or something to do like mixed media and just glue little pearl beads in the centers of those. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Let me back this up. I'm doing them and you can't even see what I'm doing. There. So I'm just kind of bringing these, and I'm just getting a, whoops, wrong paint. I'm dipping in the wrong paint. I'm like, why doesn't that look shiny? Because it's the wrong paint, Rose. There. Getting like a nice blob on the end of this. And then for our centerpiece here, you know what would look really pretty? I think if we just did some little pearls. So what if I take the tip, the pointy tip of my skewer here, and just kind of do some dots on here? Let's see what we can come up with. I think a dot pattern. Can't go wrong with a dot pattern. Are you all having fun with this? Are you trying different things? Or are you trying to do exactly what I'm doing? I'm curious. Are you having fun with it? Well, you can still do what I'm doing and have fun with it. Are you playing around and exploring? Dot, dot, dot. I love to dot things. There's something soothing about it, you know? Just doing little dots, little dots. I always loved, like, when I learned about pointillism in school, like, that to me was so cool. I remember I did some works in high school where we used ink pen and did whole pictures with points, little dots of color. It takes patience, but it is so cool when it comes together. And a little dot, dot, dot. Okay, how's that looking so far? See how the white just kind of brings out different things here? Let's see. I kind of feel like we need a little something in this. Like I like my green swirls, but I feel like it needs something to make it pop like the rest of it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep going with my dot motif here and just kind of bring it out to the outer edges of my petals, or I keep calling them petals. They're leaves. Yes, this will be a fun one to paint tomorrow, Debbie. Because what you can do, Debbie, because you're not painting tonight, you know, do a little dollar store run and go into the kitchen section and find some fun stuff to paint with, and then you can really have fun. Oh, I'm so glad you're loving it. We'll just do some little dots going down the stem. Doot, 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 doot. I mean, you could work for hours on something like this and just keep creating, or even days, like go a little bit each day, add a little bit each day. That's a thing too. Sometimes we think with painting, like you have to do this whole big canvas to be a painter, and you don't. You don't have to like do the big canvas. The big canvas can be intimidating. I do big canvases sometimes, but not very often. Um, but this is one like you could just work at it 10 minutes a day. Just take 10 minutes, work on one of your little doodle creations, and then, that's your little art break. It's a great way to get art in every day. Because I don't know about you, but I am busy, busy, busy. I've got 4 kids. I'm running a business. I'm failing miserably at getting laundry and housework done. I don't dust or clean anymore. I just don't. Like, I'm hardly ever upstairs. I'm not the one making the messes, right? My studio is a mess. I do need to clean that. My studio is always a creative mess. I think the little meme is it's not a mess, it's ideas laying around, right? So I have a lot of ideas everywhere. I really love how this one's turning out. I love it better than my first one. Sometimes the first one you get like, the jitters out and get the concept out, and then like the second one or the third one or however many you decide to do, you can really broaden your design plan. Now I kind of wish I would have had the canvas to put this on. I might be able to still frame it though. I could always just get a little square frame, or I could mount it to a canvas. I could do that too. How are you liking the dots? I'm loving the dots. Doesn't that look cool? I am definitely into dots. It gives it a delicate appeal. It makes me think of, aren't the Irish well known for lace, like Irish lace? Yeah, I'm thinking the top clover needs a pearl too. Yep, I agree, Teresa. Yep, we're on the same wavelength here. Like right smack dab in the middle, needs something in there. Or maybe like a little pearl cluster. But the delicacy, it makes me think of Irish lace. And my grandmother, though she wasn't Irish, she was German. She crocheted lace with very fine threads. Beautiful things. She did crocheted lace edges on all of her sheets. She had a whole tablecloth, like a covering for the dining room table that was lace. It was a pattern, like a round pattern, all little crocheted circlets. I think I get a lot of my creative talent from my grandma. Because she did lots of crafty things with me, taught me different things. She didn't teach me to crochet lace, but she did teach my mom. Yeah, the top little one, this one right here. Yep. I know what you mean, Teresa. Yeah, we're going to get to that. We got to add something there. I need something in the middle. Something in the middle. There. It's cool for me to look at it on the video because it's a totally different view from above than from the side as I'm looking at it, because I get too much glare from my camera on those shiny paints. Sometimes I can't see how it's coming across, but I really love it. Yeah, we need a pearl or something, or a flower. Maybe we could I'm going to try a little flower, and if we don't like the way the little flower looks, we'll turn it into just a round blob. I always have a backup plan. If one thing doesn't work, we can always turn it into something else. So what if we just did a little floweret? And I think what I'll do is I'm going to use that pearly paint because it is kind of pretty. It's got a nice sheen to it. And let's just add a little flower in the center of this. And we'll see how it looks. And I'm using that little filbert brush I had. The same one I used for the little clovers. Oh, I missed a dot in that clover. Didn't even realize it till now. I'll have to go back and add it. How's that look with the little flower in the center? Ooh, I like it. I think it's the perfect little touch. Now I want to do more flowers. Debbie says the very top the page is small. Yes. Oh yeah, that's what I was just noticing. I'm like, oh, it's missing one. It's missing one. All right, I'll get it. I'll get it. We don't want to forget it. Mirror. There we go. Thank you. Did I miss any more? Oh, you know what? This one, well, it's on the tape, so when I pull the tape off, we aren't going to be able to see it. But anyways, it's there now. Let's see. What else? Anything else you think we should add? Yes, they take, I'm imagining that took my grandma a long time to do the crochet tablecloth. When each of us got married, she gave us a sheet set with, not a sheet set, it was a pillowcases with crocheted edge. And I'm gonna say, like, I'm embarrassed to say I've never used them because I just don't want them to get stained because my husband has very oily skin and like every pillowcase turns yellow and they are white. And I was just always afraid, so we've never used our crocheted lace ones. What if I need to add a little bit more to this here so it's thicker? I'm gonna try a little something here. Let me think here. Let me think. Oh, we got a big heart from Teresa. You crochet? I do too. I crochet with yarn. I do crochet, more crochet. I also knit, but I'm more fluent with crochet. I feel like we could use a little bit more green on the outer edges. So I'm gonna go in with, I'm gonna do my green shimmer and just kind of do some little dots out here just to add some more stuff going on the outside here. I just feel like it needs a little bit something more. A little bit of shimmer. I also have my glitter glue, which we haven't used yet, so we could pull out the glitter glue and add a little glitter glue on that too. You can't really see, I don't think you can really see the dots there, but they're there. They're coming in. Oh, nice green heart. That's a pretty green heart. I like that color. Is that one of the Facebook emojis or is that from your phone? Are you on your phone? Nice bright green. Let me zoom in just a tad so you can kind of see those dots a little bit. See how I'm adding the little dots there? It's just another added texture. It's, you know, a little bit more detail. Oh, that's fine, Melissa. This is just all fun and play tonight. So this is a good one to unwind and relax and just have fun painting. And it can be totally your own thing. It does not have, like this one I'm doing right now is totally different from the original that I put in the class picture. It's an exploration type project where you're just exploring different materials and tools and paints and all that fun stuff. Almost done, and then I think we'll add a little glitter. And I think we'll call it finished once we get the glitter on there. Unless anyone has any other great ideas. Is there anything else you tried on yours that it's turning out really cool and you want to share with us what you're doing so we can try it too? Any neat patterns or tools that you're using or designs you're adding to this? There, I like that. I think it is good. Oh, that's cute, Debbie. What is that, a little octopus with a shamrock? It looks kind of, it's a funny one. Is that Debbie or Debbie's daughter? Because sometimes I get daughters on here too, or sons. which is totally fine. I paint with kids all the time. They're the most creative. Sorry, adults. You get too stuck in your ways. It's the truth. I'm that way too. Kids are not afraid. They just create. They're not afraid to make a mistake. All right. I think I am happy with this. I think it looks pretty cool, and I want to come in with some glitter glue. So the glitter glue I use the Creatology stuff from Michael's. You can also get glitter glue at the dollar store, and I know Dollar Tree has it. The only thing I notice about the dollar store glitter glue, you're not sure. I know, I don't know what that is either, but it's holding a shamrock. It's kind of funny. Anyways, I find that the Creatology brand, the amount of glitter in the actual glue seems to be a higher concentration than the dollar store stuff. So that's just what I found. And I like to do the glitter glue because it's got the nice nozzle. So you can just squirt it right on there. Or you can paint it on. You can actually paint a layer of glitter on the different things. I did add a little glitter to some of the background ones in my other one. I may do that, I don't know. So I always give it a little squirt on my palette first just to make sure it's flowing. So there's nothing worse than trying to draw with glitter glue and then it like burps and then you get like this. So make sure it's shaken down all the way to the bottom and then you can start drawing with it. So I'm going to do my outer edge and I'm going to move real slow because I want to get a little bit of a thickness. I want this to stand up a bit. I mean, it will settle down once it dries and some of the moisture in the glue evaporates. But if you go kind of slow like this, you can get a nice edge. That one's little flower's kind of in front, so I'm going to work around that flower. And we'll come over here. Honestly, of all the things, like keeping a steady hand with the glitter glue is probably harder for me than working with that fine paintbrush and doing fine lines and things. Because you got to apply, you got to squeeze as you move. It's good for building hand strength, right? Oh, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that so much. Sprinkle the glitter everywhere. Glitter everywhere. There we go. And then we'll come over here. The other thing too is you're working on this. I'm not moving my mixed media pad here because I want to make sure you can see everything I'm doing. But, oop, there we had a little burp. I'm just going to push it over with my finger. Just push the blob where it needs to go. You can move your surface here. You can turn it and move it and make it easier for yourself. I'm just not doing that because it's easier, I think, for you to, oops, we got some burps going on here. It's easier for you to see. I got some bubbles there. I think I got the air bubbles out. Air bubbles. But do feel free to move your canvas or your surface, whatever you're working on, to make it easier for you in terms of the angle you're trying to do this at and all that stuff. Now this little edge, I did this last time too, my little edge. I went on the tape a bit. So we're going to lose a little bit of our cute edge here, but that's okay. It's only a little part. And then I think we need probably a little bit of glitter glue in the center. Now we have some options. We could get this going again. Little spot there that I missed. We could go inside here or we could go outside. I don't want to cover up my dots. I think going on the inside here. So I'll just do a little glitter glue, maybe around the shimmery part that I did with the metallic paint. In fact, you could go in real thick with the glitter glue and get like a whole glittery section, you know. You could go over some of that stuff. There we are, and then a little bit here. And then I think a lovely little green dot right in the center of our flower. Nice little blob there. It'll settle down, but it'll still have a nice little, it'll stand up a bit. Okay, anywhere else do you think we should add some glitter glue? I mean, we could do a little, like what I did was I painted a little bit, like just kind of painted a thin layer. Let me show you. I'm going to do it on these background ones, just to add a little sparkle. So I just put a little blob on those background shamrocks that we designed. The other one got totally covered up. And then I just take, I don't like to use my best flat brushes for spreading the glitter just because it's glue and not paint, and I'm sure it's probably fine, but I like to use my older, scrappier brushes for that. And I can just paint this glitter right over the top of this design. Let me see. It almost seems like my gel pen's mixing a little. I don't know. That's not really the effect I wanted, but there we go. Let me see. It's kind of picking up a little bit of the gel pen because it's dry, but maybe the gel pen wasn't totally dry. Just kind of spread, spread, spread. Gives it a little bit of shimmer. Shimmer, shimmer. Yeah, for some reason that one worked out kind of weird. Maybe I had too many scribbles on it, and then it's still fine. It'll still be okay. But like the gel pen kind of smooshed. It's still sparkly though. I like it. Okay, I think that's it. I'm not sure if there's anything else I should add. Should I add anything else, or do you think it looks good? What do you think? What do you think? Should we add any more glitter in here? Any more designs? I kind of like the dot motif. I like how that looks. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Very, very happy. I think it looks very pretty. All right, no other comments. Silence. It's always silence on Facebook, right? All right, so I'm going to start pulling. Now, when you do this, it's best to do it while it's still wet. If you wait too long, your acrylic will stick and sometimes it'll peel part of your design. So I would, pull your tape while it's hasn't cured too long. Yes, I know, you can never have too much glitter. You're right, Cindy. And then just be really careful. I kind of pull gently away. You don't want to just rip it up because then you might tear your paper or whatever. And if you want to frame it later, like I might frame this later because I think this would look really cute, for St. Patrick's Day decorating. Here we go. Oh, see, I told you we'd lose a little bit of that edge. There we are. Okie dokie. And then our last one here from the top. Sorry about my big arm in the way, all my freckles. Oh, we lost a little glitter on that one too. The edge. There. Okay. Thanks, Kathy. Use some of my ideas and some of your design. Yes, and that's it. I love it. It just happened. Some of your design just happened. That's exactly how it's meant to be. It's, you're having fun. It's like free-form art. Free-form. It's not, I guess it's a little bit abstract, but not totally abstract. I mean, we know it's a shamrock. We got some stuff going on here. So let's look at my original here. Here's my original. There's the original. And then here's tonight's version. Which one do you like better? I'm going to have to do a this or that for it. I like this one better. I like this one better. Original or version number 2. Yeah, I think I like this one. Okay, so I'm going to let y'all go for tonight. And don't forget, tomorrow is the last night. Here, I'll put that up in the corner so you can still see it. Is the last night, tomorrow at midnight, I'm closing the Painter's Pond membership. So it's the last opportunity you have to get in as a founding member. And me too, Cindy. Yeah, I like number 2. Yes, me too, Teresa. Agree. So this is the very first painting I'm teaching in the pond membership. Oop, there we go. I've got too many things on the screen. Anyways, I call it Lovebirds, and we're actually painting this Saturday. So this Saturday, we're kind of doing like a pajama PJ painting party Saturday evening. But always, I record them and save them all, and you can always do the replays. So, and this, like this little shamrock thing, this is being shared into my Painter's Pond group. So they always get all these little freebies and things like that. I always stick them in the group. But yes, tomorrow at midnight is the last time. So if you're interested in the pond, put pond in the comments and I'll put the link in there for you. I'd love to have you in there. We got a great group so far. And it's quaint, so it'll be nice. We'll get to know each other and have fun creating together. So I wish you all a wonderful evening, and I want to remind you to be creative, be artistic, and get connected at the Painted Toad. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for painting with me tonight. And I can't wait to see how yours turn out. I will put in a little post in the different groups that I share this in so you can share your amazing shamrock creations. Thanks so much for coming. Good night.